These VTL schemes are very limited because of the cap on the number of passengers. So Singapore has a cap of 3,000 passengers per day for all 11 VTL countries combined. The two that started last month, as well as the 9 that are now being added. So demand is exceeding supply, particularly for December and the holiday season. So the impact is actually quite small. If you look at the 3,000 number, that only would translate on a return basis to about 3% of traffic for Changi, maybe 3 to 4% of traffic at the most for Singapore Airlines, and that's assuming full flights. So it's actually quite small, and that's why demand has exceeded supply, because there is pent-up demand, particularly for the holiday season. And I think the pressure is on for Singapore to increase the cap and really to move on from the VTL scheme as soon as possible. Other countries do not have the scheme. Thailand is opening up and doesn't have a cap, and is just letting demand and supply kind of work like its normal self, which is a lot more natural. This is a very artificial constraint that Singapore is putting on the airlines right now.
Yeah, you just mentioned possible changes to those caps. Do you think that is likely, and when obviously Singapore would want to see how successful the scheme is, whether or not we have, of course, large numbers of people that are potentially carrying the virus turn up? I know that the scheme's been running with, as you mentioned, those 2 other countries, and the numbers of people contracting the virus or coming in with the virus has been very, very small. Do you anticipate that those are some of the issues that Singapore would want to wait and see?
Yeah, I mean, definitely they take a cautious, gradual approach. So they probably will want to wait a few weeks, just like they waited, with the Germany and Brunei initial VTL, and to see what the numbers look like in terms of imported cases and how it's going. So it might not happen immediately, but I think the pressure is on to do something sooner rather than later. And I would hope that there is a possibility of an increase in the number of seats as well as the number of destinations before Christmas, because otherwise the recovery won't be as meaningful as it can be. Singapore Airlines and Changi Airport will still be in single digits, below 10% of normal pre-COVID traffic in December at this rate. But if you look at demand, it could potentially be 20% even. But they need to respond to that and allow a more meaningful recovery. And some of the pressure will come from other countries, Thailand, Korea, Australia, Malaysia, as those countries, open up in a different way without the VTL scheme, with kind of a lot of those countries don't even have lists of countries. They're just opening up entirely for people to come back into the country, without quarantine or in some cases with 7 days at home. But at least there's no artificial cap on constraining the supply. So I think eventually this VTL scheme will go, and I hope it will be sooner rather than later.